Today's topic in production and compensation management is basically the compensation management system. So in this lecture, we will talking about the compensation management system, what compensation is all about, how compensations are classified, what are the objectives of compensation. So all these topics we will be discussing in this lecture today. So talking about compensation, compensation as a layman, we can say that it is uh, the return of your work in the organization. So, according to the point of view of economists, laborers only sell their services to the entrepreneur for the productive purpose and does not use it for himself or herself. So, moreover, the services provided by laborers are invaluable in the sense that is without such services, the productive machineries is like a body without a soul. Therefore, the labor could not be paid exactly for its services. Any payment to it is only mere a compensation for the value provided by the labors in the production mechanism. And salaries, on other hand, represent the payment made to office employees, managerial personnel, and the technical staff like engineers, cost accountant, and the salary usually being paid only on time basis. So there is a slight difference between wages and compensation. So when we talk about wages, it is generally associated with the blue collar employees where the compensation is not paid periodically. It is paid on hourly or daily basis, whereas salary is based time based payment system, and it is uh, a periodic uh, kind of machinery. And the compensation term, the terminology compensation is used to indicate that employees gross earning in the form of financial rewards and benefits. So overall we can say that compensation can defined as a system of reward that can motivate employees to perform. Secondly, it is a tool which is used to foster value and culture in the organization. And thirdly, it is an instrument that enables the organization to achieve its objective. The management should ensure that compensation structure is designed after taking into account certain factors related to the job, such as qualification, experience, attitude, prevailing rate in the market, so that we can define a proper compensation package for the employees. And compensation means the reward that received by an employee for the work performed in the organization, and it is an important function of human resource management. Employee may receive financial and non-financial both kind of compensation for the performance of the work. So in this way we can see that there are two kinds of compensation. When we talk about compensation system, there are two kind of compensation which prevails in the organization, and these two compensations are known as direct compensation and indirect compensation. So talking about the direct compensation is the compensation which is directly paid in terms of money to the employees, such as basic pay, DA, cash allowance, incentives and bonus, commission, profit sharing, any kind of monetary compensation comes under direct compensation. Whereas in indirect compensation, the provident fund, the legal requirement, the gratuity, pension, insurance, medical leaves, accidental benefits, maturity leaves, or optional sick leaves, casual leaves, travel allowance, telephone bills, canteen allowance, club memberships. These are the indirect part of compensation. And if we talk about the main characteristics of the uh, compensation system, so we can see that the it is basically a hierarchy of pay levels, because there are different pay levels at different grades in the organization. Secondly, it is also associated with the hierarchy of jobs. That means every kind of job on the basis of compensation system can be segregated in terms of hierarchy. And thirdly, a set rules and procedures should be defined for the compensation system. So this is all about the characteristics of compensation system. Now we move on to the objectives of compensation in the organization. So talking about the objectives, the first objective of compensation should be paid to each employee on the basis of their ability and training. That means the compensation could be varied from employee to employee, and this should be on the basis of abilities, skills, and the kind of training he possesses. It should be varied from employee to employee. Second objective is compensation should be in form of package. So it should not be in form of loose money only. It should comprises in a form of package where all the employees can get direct and indirect compensation both, so that further they can have the benefit of taxation also. Then it should be such that it can motivate employees towards increasing productivity. So the compensation should be in such a manner that it can increase the motivation level of the employees, so that they can increase further the productivity of the organization. It should be capable of taking care of employee for safety security needs also. That means not only the physical needs should be satisfied through the salary, but salary should be in such terms so that the employees safety and security needs can also be met. And the salary structure should be flexible and clear. It should not be excessive enough so that employees the organization may suffer financial losses as well. And the compensation should be decided by the management as per the norms fixed by the legislation in consultation with the union. So compensation, if we talk about compensation of labors, it should not be against any legislation which is prevailing at that time in that particular organization. And the union members or trade unions are also need to be consulted before deciding the compensation package, so that to avoid any kind of aftermath. Then we move on to the uh, significance of compensation. See, compensation also denotes as personal remuneration. So remuneration and compensation both are the same thing. So you don't get confused. So talking about the significance of employees compensation, uh, the issue of personal remuneration or employee compensation, whether in the form of salaries and wages, is highly significant from the point of view of industrial relation, social peace, and economic implication. In fact, it is the basically a center from which a circle of industrial relation can be drawn. So the crux of industrial conflict lies mostly under employees compensation. However, uh, in the slide you can see there are 5 6 significant of employees' compensation. So talking about first, wages and salary constitute the primary source of income for employee. That is very common fact, and their adequacy or otherwise would very much determine their standard of living. So on the basis of salary or wages provided to the employee, that would be the source of earning for themselves, and that will be the milestone to decide their living standard. Secondly, adequate remuneration is source of motivation to the employees. So proper compensation is very much required when an organization want to motivate their employees in the organization. Through making adequate and timely payment of employee remuneration, an employer can attract and retain good employees in the organization. So it is basically a tool to attract and retain talent in the organization. Next is especially in labor intensive industries, wages constitute a substantial part of cost of production. So basically in the organization where the a huge amount of labors are required. So the cost of production mostly lies in the wages of labor. So a proper employee compensation plan will give certainly a cost effective production, so that the overall organization cost of production can be minimized and the profit can be maximized. So these are the objectives of compensation plan. So in this lecture, we have talked about the concept of compensation, the compensation system structure of the compensation system, the objective of compensation, and the significance of employees' compensation. So that is it for the day. Thank you so much.